What's up, everybody? Drew's Creations here. I'm Drew. If you're new here, thank you for watching. We got a little different video today. Normally we talk about chainsaws and chainsaw repair, and we run chainsaws, port chainsaws, we cut wood. We do everything with chainsaws. We've had a couple requests for this video via our last live feed, which I apologize, it's been a hot minute, but we're finally getting to it. The weather's starting to get nice, and trying to get out here and make some content for you guys. So yeah, got a little different video today. We're gonna show y'all my new truck, so y'all stay tuned. All right, guys. So like I say, we're gonna do a little video on my new truck that I just got. Well, y'all are watching this, but I actually got this truck back in the end of December, right after Christmas. Previous little backstory. Before this, I had a 2011 Chevrolet Silverado. Great truck, no issues, no complaints, other than it was two-wheel drive, and the occasional not having enough truck to pull the things that I'd like to pull sometimes. So I like to do little side jobs, tree jobs and whatnot, and occasionally I need to pull a skid steer or something like that. And it's North Carolina, but we get some harsh weather sometimes, and it usually happens spur of the moment. And well, you don't always need four-wheel drive, but when you need it, you need it. And you know, you pull off in the yard or something with a trailer and you're stuck. So there's always that. So four-wheel drive is very handy. I'm sure all y'all know this, because I'm sure a lot of y'all got four-wheel drive trucks, but my Chevrolet was two-wheel drive, and you know, it was a pretty truck, but I just needed a little more, and so I put it up for sale, and not really thinking much of it. My phone started getting all sorts of messages, and people were all sorts of interested in it because the truck market's been crazy. And well, before I knew it, within about a month, I sold the thing, and well, I went without a truck for about 3 months or so, and I was looking and looking and looking, and finally found this beauty I'm about to show y'all here. And yeah, it wasn't something I expected, but I saw it and it caught my eye, caught my interest, and I had to go look at it. And it's a two-owner truck, and that really drew me to it too. So I just had to have it. Introduce y'all to my new to me, 1997 Ford F-250 Power Stroke diesel, heavy duty. They made some of these, the ones that weren't diesel, they made some of them that were non-heavy duty, and this one's actually a heavy duty power 7.3, the legendary 7.3 Power Stroke. She's 100% bone stock and original. I mean, it's had, you know, minor repair work done and maintenance done over the years, but the engine stock, the exhaust is stock. It doesn't have a tuner on it, not yet, at least. None of that's been done to this truck yet. And as y'all can see, it's still got the factory steel hubcaps with the Grandpa edition wheels. Some people like them, some people don't, but that's what's on the truck. That's what was on it when I bought it. The only thing I've changed on the truck thus far is it had some aluminum running boards on it, and I really didn't like the way they looked, so I took them off. But other than that, I haven't changed anything on this thing yet. You're looking at the way it was when I got it. It's a little dirty right now. A couple weeks ago, I bought a four-wheeler, and well, got in the yard and had four-wheel drive, and it's been so rainy and wet here, I still got stuck. But I was able to get out because I had four-wheel drive. So without four-wheel drive, I definitely wouldn't have made it out. So I'm fortunate for that. Four-wheel drive's already came in handy multiple times, so I can't complain. I'm happy with that. But yeah, she's 1997, so the last year for the OBS. I'm sure Power Stroke owners and F-250 owners know all that stuff, so I'm just stating the obvious here. But we'll do a quick walk around on the outside of the thing, and I'll show y'all the truck. Don't forgive me right now, she's really dirty. It's springtime now, and pollen's hitting hard, so it's sticking to everything. And This truck still got a little bit of mold in places around the window sills here. You can see it because it was sitting underneath some trees. When the guy I bought it from, he always parked it underneath trees, which is not very good, but you can see it back in there. I'm gonna have to get the pressure washer after. I've already gotten the pressure washer on it one time and scrub brush, but it needs it again. It needs to be cleaned thoroughly. It was cold back when I still did that, so I wasn't able to get it like I wanted it. But yep, she's got the overload springs, and she's not a rusty truck. She's been down south her whole life, so she ain't got rust. She's just, you know, your typical old truck surface rust, but it ain't rusted out. It ain't all flaky or nothing like that. And it's got the typical OBS Ford twin fuel tanks, and the selector valve does work. It does switch back and forth. It came with this cool, I'm gonna show y'all while I'm right here. It came with this cool buyer's product toolbox, which I really like. I've never had a toolbox on a truck before, and everybody always asks me why. Well, I've always had a truck with a 6 foot or shorter bed, and you put a toolbox on there and it takes up your bed. Well, now I got an 8 foot bed and I got a toolbox, and I actually still have a bed. My four-wheeler actually fit back here, and I can close the tailgate, which is awesome. But we pop this thing up. I haven't cleaned this thing out yet. It's still got the junk in it from when I bought it. It's dirty. Everything in there is the way it was. I threw a couple ratchet straps in there because I've hauled some stuff, but I need to redo the seals on it. As you can see, they're less than ideal, but the shocks do hold the door up, which is nice, and it does go up higher than that. But yeah, very nice toolbox. These toolboxes are like $1,000 new, so I was like, when I looked that thing up, I was very impressed. I was told that underneath this bed liner is a 5th wheel hitch, because the guy I bought it from the original owner, and it was a woman, and she used this truck. She bought this truck brand new, and she used this truck its whole life to haul cattle, or I think donkeys is what she used it for. So yeah, this truck was owned by a woman originally, and she sold it to the gentleman. She owned it from 97 to 2000. I think he said 2018 is when he bought it, and he owned it from 2018 to 2022 when I bought it. So I'm the 3rd owner of this thing. It's not a perfect truck, but it's in really good shape to be a 1997 model. It's got one little dent here and scratch, but that's probably just from hauling and tying stuff down. Something fell over and hit that, I'm sure, at one point in time. But yeah, she's got a 5th wheel hitch. I was told the guy that I bought it from slid this bed liner in there to protect the bed. The truck actually never had bed liner, and it's actually, you can see it's bowed up because this bed liner is actually not mounted in here. It's just sitting in here at the moment. But yeah, and all that stuff you see in here, that's all pollen, guys. That's how bad the pollen is here. It looks like dirt, but I promise you it's pollen. It's real bad right now. So people with allergies, you know. But yep, this thing was bought right here in North Carolina. It was bought in Shelby, North Carolina. So it's pretty local to me. That Shelby's only about 40 minutes from me, so truck was bought real local. And it does have a hitch on it. It's got a really nice B&W hitch underneath it, and the guy I bought it from, he actually put that hitch under there to pull his camper with, because that's what he used this thing for. Him and his wife had a camper, and he bought this truck specifically to pull that camper. He actually had a car, and he had a F-150 that he drove when he needed a pickup truck. So this truck only really got drove during that. Factory exhaust. Factory still got the muffler. It's still got the cat in it. So it's pretty restrictive right now. But I like them that way when I get them, because that lets you know that it hasn't been abused, and you know, the truck's been taken care of. It was owned by older folks, which I like. But yeah, yep, that's that's the history on this thing. That's the backstory on it. So it's pretty cool to be the third owner of it. Extended cab, which I like. Tow mirrors. I might eventually try to find some different mirrors for this thing. I'm not sure yet. I like the tow mirrors, but I'd like to have maybe see if there's a different style out there for it or not. I'm not sure yet. I haven't really looked at a whole lot of aftermarket stuff for this thing yet. I've just been trying to enjoy it the way that it is, stock and original, and enjoy the fact that it's original, because that's really hard to find. But she's a manual lock and hub deal, as you can see, which is good because it's usually pretty reliable, and if you keep them hubs moving, usually you'll never have any problems with them. But if you do let them sit and you don't ever turn them, and a lot of times they'll get stuck. But those right there turn really well. But yeah, still got all the badges on it. This is a I'm sure some people are going to ask, this is an XL truck, not an XLT. So it's not a base model, but it ain't far from it. It don't have a bunch of fancy options like some of these trucks did. A lot of people prefer the XLTs. I kind of wish this truck was an XLT too, for a couple reasons. I wish it had tilt, and I wish it had cruise control, which would be kind of nice, but this thing does not have cruise control, and it does not have a tilt wheel. But we'll open the door here, and we will take y'all through a time machine back to 1997, because that's exactly what it is. Time machine to 1997. And I apologize right now. Like I say, this thing is a little dirty. It was a little cleaner when I got it. It was really well taken care of. But the weather's just been so bad right now, and you wash something and the next day it's dirty again, so it doesn't do much good. We've been getting so much rain, as y'all can see. The ground is so muddy right now. It's so saturated. It's unreal. But yeah, driver door, all manual windows. Manuel windows. They do roll up and down really well. That's your typical old OBS fold out windows, which are really nice going down the road. Because if you didn't have AC, or your AC didn't work, these right here were a lifesaver. They keep you cool. They really do. They channel that air right in on you if you turn them right. Coming in here to the cab, you can see the seat. The only damage on the seat is it's got that little bit right there just from sliding in and out. But the foam and stuff's still really solid on this seat, and this seat's all original. It's never been redone. It's a bench seat because, like I say, this is an XL, not an XLT. The XLTs had a split bench setup, which I like a little better, but everybody tells me these seats are more comfortable, so I believe them on that. I have looked, and Mr. Bellhopper's got he's got an XLT. He's got a 95 Power Stroke, and you know, it looks just like this truck, and it's his XLT, so his has got those seats, and he said he likes these better. It does have a back seat because it's extended cab. Y'all can see that seat back there is in pristine shape. It don't look like it's hardly ever been sat in, because it probably hadn't. Not a whole lot of room back there, but it's better than a Ford Ranger of the era, similar era. At least you can actually get somebody back there and they can sit. But yep, jumping on in here, we'll show you the headliner and everything. She's really nice shape. The headliner doesn't have any stains or burns or sags or anything like that. Everything's really nice in it. That right there looks like somebody had something attached to that at one time. It's a spot, but it's not. It doesn't look stained. It just looks like something was attached there at some point. Seat belts work really good in this truck. They're not all worn out and saggy, and they actually retract back. Manual engagement on the four-wheel drive, which is really, really nice. Typical OBS gauge cluster. She is an automatic truck. I don't know if I mentioned that yet or not. I don't think I did. I was kind of hoping for a I was kind of hoping for a 5-speed, a ZF 5-speed or whatever, but you know, I can't argue with it. It shifts good, and it'll shift even better one of these days when we get a shift kit put in it. So I can't really complain about that. Like I said, there it is, an XL truck. There's the dash. Does have one little crack right there, one little split right there, but other than that, the dash is in great shape. I think that's pretty typical on these. If y'all know more about that, let me know. I've seen several of these old body style trucks like this, and they've all had that split right there. So it must be some kind of stress crack or something right there in the dash. And you can see this truck still got the original radio and everything in it. Currently the heat works really good in this truck, but the AC don't at the moment. The man I bought it from told me it needs to be charged. He said that it was working good, and then it gradually got to where it started getting less cool and less cool and less cool, and then it just quit on him. So it's probably got a leak somewhere, and I'm sure it needs to be charged. So we'll probably charge it up one of these days, and probably real soon because it's starting to get warm, and see if we can find the leak on that bad boy. So we got some AC, because it gets quite warm here in the old North Carolina. It gets on up in the 90s here, and it tips 100 some days in the peak of summer around August. So yeah, but anyway, we'll do a little cold start on this thing and let y'all see how she starts up. So I will get y'all set up on the tripod, because I know you want to hear this thing fire off. So I'll get you set up back there where you can hear it fire off. Boy, don't that sound wonderful. Clack, 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 clickety clack. Good old 7.3 power stroke. Bring y'all back inside here. So you can see she's got 187,723 miles on her. I'm gonna pull this key out here because that buzzer is real annoying. You can tell it works just fine, right? Yeah. But yeah, that was a little cold start on the 7.3. Nothing too exciting. It's all bone stock, old truck, nothing to get too excited over. Unless you like the sound of old diesels. Which I do. I like the sound of it. But I think we're gonna, not to be the typical person, but I think we are gonna straight pipe it eventually, because it does help with flow and gives a little more power on these old trucks, because the cat and muffler are kind of restrictive on these things, and I think it'll sound a whole lot better too once we do that. So I think we're going to do that pretty soon and clear that up so she can breathe and make it sound a little better and get a little more sound out of it, because I like it. Other than that, we'll leave it alone for a little while. I don't plan on doing a whole lot to it. I do plan eventually on putting a shift kit in it, or and a tuner for the shift kits for the tuner, so that the transmission don't slip. That way we can get a little more towing power and stuff like that, so to get out of its way a little better. But yeah, that, and we'll do some more mods in the future, but that all stuff all costs money, and money we ain't got right now, so we're gonna leave her alone and be happy with it for a little while. But I think the exhaust mod, I think we can handle that pretty cheap and pretty easy. So I think we'll do that soon. This ain't a typical truck channel. We don't typically do truck stuff here, but you know, this is Drew's Creations and we do a little bit of everything. So I like vehicles once in a while, and I like old diesel equipment. So this, y'all bear with me, this is a little hard to do one-handed. Try to get this thing popped real quick. There we go. Show y'all under the hood. Typical stock 7.3. Oh, I did do something. I actually did do something to this truck when I first got it. Well, not shortly after I got it, this thing had a belt squeal or chirp, and got to looking at it and found out that the belt was just old and dry and not pliable like it should. So I did put a serpentine belt on it. That is one thing that I did do to this thing. I inspected all the pulleys and put a serpentine belt on it while I had it off. Stock air box, stock air filter, not been modified. Like, usually that's common. May end up doing something like that one of these days, but right now I want to make this truck last a long time and don't really want to beat on it or abuse it. I don't plan on going out and trying to do burnouts or nothing with it, because it ain't for that. I strictly want a little more power just for towing and stuff like that, is the reason why I'd like to get a little more out of it. But she does have a little bit of an issue right now, and apparently it's pretty common on 7.3s. I didn't really know it when I first got this truck, but after having bought this truck, I've done a lot of research and I've learned a lot more about them. And I did know that this truck had a little bit of a fuel leak when I first got this truck, but I didn't know where it was. I thought it was, you know, back by the tanks or something, because I did smell diesel when I test drove it. And the guy did tell me, he was honest with me, he didn't lie about it, that it did have a fuel leak. He wasn't sure where, but we agreed on a price, and I told him that for that price I'd handle it myself. So, you know, I was good with it. But anyway, it's got the typical valley leak. It's back in there, and down below the turbo there's a banjo fitting down in there, and it's probably the lift pump leaking too. So I am going to have to address that pretty soon on the truck. But overall, she's really clean and she's not hurt at all. A little dirty, but you know, it's a 1997 and it's a diesel, and well, diesels usually get a little dirty and oily, but it don't really leak much other than the fuel. It don't leak oil or nothing, so that's a good thing. 7.3s are usually common for that. They usually sweat horsepower, what little bit of horsepower they got. But yeah, that's under the hood in this thing, and that's where we're at with it right now. It does have, like I say, it does have that little bit of a fuel leak right now. So I don't drive it a whole lot right now. I drive it when I want to or when I need it. But I've trying to let it sit here until I'm able to get it fixed, because I don't like it leaking. It, you know, it can potentially be a fire hazard, and diesel being $4 a gallon, it's a little too expensive to be wasting. So you know, there's always that. But yeah, she's all stock, guys. She's all stock. Even the insulation under the hood's in good shape. It ain't hurt at all. It ain't ripped out from underneath there or abused or nothing like that. Got holes poked all in it, burn marks, something like that. It ain't got none of that. So y'all excuse me, I think my allergies are starting to get me too. I think this pollen's drying me out, making me lose my voice. But yeah, that's the view walk around of my 1997 f-250 Power Stroke diesel, for the ones that care and ones that want to watch. If you watched this video up to this point, I thank you for watching. If you didn't watch this video up to this point, then I understand. It's a lot of talk and just walking around a truck. Nothing's too exciting. But like I say, if you did stay to the end and you were interested and you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give me a like, and tell me what you think and anything you think we might. If you're a power stroke guy and you know of some common stuff we could do to this truck to make it better, I'm all ears, because I'm new to the diesel world. I'm new to the power strokes. I mean, I knew about them, I've known about them, but this is my first diesel, so obviously I'm learning as I go. I used to be a technician and a mechanic, so I do know a good bit about vehicles, and I know some about diesels, but there's a lot to learn, and you know, it is different from gasoline. So, but anyway, hope y'all enjoyed this. Oh, and I'm sure y'all seen that white car in the background. That's my daily. It's my 2009 Ford Fusion. I'll throw that in here because when I'm not driving the truck, that's what I drive. I drive that every day most of the time because it's good on gas, and it's pretty comfortable to ride in, especially long distances and whatnot. So I bought that just to for gas mileage and stuff, for daily commutes and whatnot. And I got the truck for when I need a truck. But yeah, anyway, so for the ones that, like I say, the ones that wanted to watch this, here it is. And we'll get this posted to you. Like I say, let me know what you think. Comment, like, subscribe, share it with your friends. We're all the time posting cool videos. We're trying to post more, trying to get better at it, and one of these days we'll get the hang of it. We'll get it down pat, y'all just bear with me. But hope y'all enjoyed. I'm not gonna hold y'all any longer. Y'all have a nice day, have a nice week, stay safe wherever you are, and we'll catch you on the next one. Drew's Creations, over and out.